You are scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m. The room is quiet, but your mind isn't. Your chest feels tight. You replay a conversation that hasn't happened yet, or a mistake you made years ago that nobody else even remembers. You tell yourself you're just trying to prepare, but you're not preparing. You're suffering. And the strange part is, nothing dangerous is actually happening. Yet your body doesn't seem to know that. Your heart races. Your breathing changes. Sleep feels impossible. If you've ever experienced this, you're not alone. But here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not anxious because of what is happening in your life. You are anxious because you have mistaken your opinion of the world for the world itself. That idea is more than 2,000 years old. Long before psychologists studied anxiety, before therapy, before self-help books, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus had already begun asking a different question. What if anxiety isn't created by events, but by the meaning we attach to them? That single question changes everything. Because if events create anxiety, you're powerless. But if your interpretation creates anxiety, then your mind can be trained. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Read that again. Not sometimes, more often. Think about your own life. How many nights have you spent worrying about something that never happened? How many conversations did you rehearse, only for reality to unfold in a completely different way? Anxiety has a remarkable talent. It convinces you that possibility is certainty. A single thought appears. What if I fail? Seconds later it becomes, what if everyone sees me fail? Then, what if I never recover? Nothing around you has changed, only the story inside your head, and your body reacts as if that story were already true. This is why anxiety feels so convincing. Your imagination doesn't simply create pictures. It creates physical sensations, a racing heart, sweaty hands, tense muscles. To your nervous system, an imagined disaster can feel surprisingly similar to a real one. That is why people can sit safely in their own homes, while feeling as though their entire world is collapsing. The ancient philosophers understood something that modern neuroscience now agrees with. The mind cannot always distinguish between a real threat and one it repeatedly imagines. But they also understood something even more important. You don't have to believe every thought that enters your mind. A thought is an invitation, not an order. The moment you realize that, you stop becoming a passenger and start becoming the driver. But there is one habit that quietly feeds anxiety every single day. Almost everyone does it. Very few people notice it. And once you see it, you'll understand why peace has felt so difficult to hold on to. The habit is this: trying to control what was never yours to control. At first, it sounds obvious. Of course, you can't control everything. But look closely at what steals your peace every day. You send a message. 5 minutes pass. No reply. 10 minutes. Still nothing. Without realizing it, your mind begins writing a story. They're upset with me. I shouldn't have said that. I've ruined everything. An hour later, your phone lights up. Sorry, I was driving. Reality lasted one sentence. Your imagination wrote an entire novel. That is exactly what Epictetus spent his life trying to teach. He believed our suffering begins the moment we confuse what belongs to us with what never did. Your effort belongs to you. Someone else's opinion does not. Your actions belong to you. The outcome does not. Your character belongs to you. The world's response never will. Most people spend their lives fighting on the wrong battlefield. They try to control the weather instead of learning how to walk in the rain. And because the world refuses to obey them, they mistake uncertainty for failure. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. Imagine the weight he carried. He wasn't worrying about a difficult email. He was leading an empire. Wars stretched across its borders. A plague swept through the population. People he trusted betrayed him. Every morning, he woke knowing thousands of lives depended on his decisions. Yet, when he opened his journal, he didn't write about controlling the empire. He wrote about controlling himself. Because he knew something most of us forget. The greatest battle is rarely outside. It's inside the mind. Ask yourself something. How much of today's stress comes from today's reality? And how much comes from tomorrow's possibilities? There is an old story that illustrates this perfectly. A traveler is handed a backpack before beginning a long journey. Inside are food, water, and everything needed for that day's walk. It's heavy, but manageable. Then someone quietly adds another bag. This one is for tomorrow. Another follows. And this one is for next week. Soon the traveler collapses under the weight. Not because today's journey was impossible, but because he insisted on carrying burdens that belonged to another day. That is what anxiety quietly asks us to do. Carry tomorrow's problems, using today's strength. No wonder we feel exhausted before the day has even begun. Seneca warned against this centuries ago. He believed people don't simply suffer the present. They suffer the future in advance. They pay interest on debts they may never owe. Think about that. How many times have you rehearsed failure, only to discover there was never a battle to fight? How many peaceful moments have been stolen by disasters that existed only in your imagination? Life eventually brings real challenges. No one escapes that, but anxiety has a cruel habit. It asks you to live through those challenges, twice. Once in your mind, and once in reality. The first time is almost always optional. So how do you stop it? Not by pretending everything will be fine. That isn't wisdom. It's wishful thinking. The answer the ancient philosophers discovered is far more powerful. Instead of running from fear, they turned around and looked directly at it. At first, it sounds completely backwards, but it may be the most effective exercise ever created for an anxious mind. Fear has a strange advantage. It grows best in the dark. Think back to when you were a child. You wake up in the middle of the night. The room is silent. A jacket hanging on the chair suddenly looks like a person. A shadow on the wall becomes something watching you. Nothing in the room has changed. Only your perception has. Then someone turns on the light. In an instant, the monster disappears. Not because it was defeated, because it was never there. Seneca believed anxiety works in much the same way. The less clearly we examine our fears, the larger they become. That is why he practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. It sounds intimidating, but the idea is surprisingly practical. Instead of asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" he asked, "If it does, what will I do?" Notice the difference. One question creates panic. The other creates a plan. Imagine you're terrified of losing your job. Your anxious mind immediately jumps to the final chapter. I'll lose everything. My life will fall apart. I'll never recover. But stop there. What would actually happen? You would update your resume. Call people you know. Start applying. Maybe learn a new skill. Would it be painful? Absolutely. Would it be easy? Not at all. Would it be the end of your life? Probably not. Fear rarely collapses because we tell ourselves to stay positive. It collapses when we realize we are more capable than we first believed. That is why this exercise isn't pessimism. It is preparation. A firefighter doesn't train because he expects every building to burn. He trains so that if the fire comes, panic doesn't make the decisions. The same is true for the mind. Preparation creates confidence. Confidence leaves less room for anxiety. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet difficult people, face unexpected problems, and encounter setbacks, not because he expected every day to be miserable, but because reality is easier to face when it doesn't surprise you. Think about your own life. The hardest moments often weren't difficult because they happened. They were difficult because you never thought they would happen to you. The breakup, the rejection, the failure, the loss. What shattered you wasn't only the event, it was the shock. The ancient philosophers quietly removed that shock. They accepted that life would sometimes be unfair, that plans would change, and that comfort was never guaranteed. Strangely, that acceptance didn't make them more fearful. It made them calmer, because once you stop demanding that life go exactly as planned, you stop feeling betrayed every time it doesn't. That doesn't mean you become cold. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop confusing discomfort with disaster, and that is one of the greatest freedoms a person can discover. But there is still one mistake almost all of us make. Even after we accept uncertainty, our minds continue drifting somewhere they were never meant to live, tomorrow, and that's where anxiety quietly waits. There is one final trick anxiety likes to play. It steals today by convincing you to live in tomorrow. Think about how often your mind leaves the present. You're having dinner, but you're already worrying about Monday. You're finally on vacation, but you're thinking about the emails waiting for you. You're spending time with the people you love, yet part of your mind is somewhere in a future that hasn't even arrived. Little by little, life slips past unnoticed, not because time moved too quickly, but because your attention was somewhere else. It's a strange trade. We exchange a real moment for an imaginary one, and anxiety almost always wins that bargain. The reason is simple. The future has no limits. Your mind can invent endless problems there. This doesn't mean ignoring tomorrow. Planning is wisdom. Living there is suffering. There is an enormous difference. The first prepares you. The second consumes you. So the next time your thoughts begin racing ahead, don't ask yourself, how do I stop feeling anxious? Ask a better question. What can I actually do right now? Maybe the answer is making one phone call. Maybe it's finishing the task you've been avoiding. Maybe it's simply putting the phone down and taking a slow breath. Whatever it is, keep your attention there. Action has a remarkable effect on the mind. The more you act, the less room fear has to invent stories. Which brings us to the question you've probably been asking since the beginning. What do you actually do the moment anxiety appears? Not tomorrow. Not after reading another book. The next time your heart starts racing. The next time your mind begins writing stories. The next time fear quietly knocks on your door. Fortunately, the answer is surprisingly simple, and it can be practiced in less than a minute. The first step is simple. Pause. Not because a deep breath magically removes anxiety, but because it interrupts the story your mind is trying to tell. For a few seconds, stop following the thought. Just observe it. There is a simple lesson many of us learn as children. A father is teaching his son to ride a bicycle. The boy keeps looking at the ground. He falls. Again and again. Finally, his father says, "Don't look where you're afraid to fall. Look where you want to go." Everything changes. The bicycle doesn't change. The road doesn't change. Only the boy's focus changes. And suddenly, his body follows. Our minds work the same way. Anxiety keeps our eyes fixed. Wisdom quietly lifts them toward the road ahead. The second step, ask yourself one question. Is this within my control? Answer honestly. If the answer is yes, stop worrying. Start acting. If the answer is no, stop fighting reality. Accept it, then move forward. because freedom begins the moment you stop trying to control what was never yours. The third step is to act. Just one action. Send the email. Have the conversation. Study for 30 minutes. Go for a walk. Close the app that's feeding your anxiety. Small actions have a quiet power. They remind your mind that you are not helpless, and little by little, fear loses the authority you once gave it. Now, let's go back to where we began. It's 2 a.m. The room is still dark. Your phone is still beside you. Your mind begins whispering the same familiar stories. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if everything falls apart? But this time, you don't chase the thoughts. You let them come. You let them pass. You remember, a thought is not a prediction. A feeling is not a fact. And fear is not a command. You ask yourself one final question. Is this happening right now? Look around the room. Are you safe? What actually needs your attention? Most of the time, the answer is surprisingly small. And that's the point. Anxiety pulls you toward a future that doesn't exist. Wisdom brings you back to the only place where life has ever been lived. Here, now. Those who practiced these ideas understood something that has endured for more than 2,000 years. Peace is not found when life finally becomes predictable. Peace begins the moment you stop demanding that it should. Perhaps that is what real courage has always looked like. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep moving even when fear walks beside you. If this message stays with you after the video ends, don't let it become another idea you admired. Practice it. The next time anxiety knocks, don't ask, how do I make this disappear? Ask, what is within my control right now? That single question has guided people through uncertainty for more than 2,000 years. And if you return to it often enough, it may quietly change your life.